Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. Now this is a little bit of a conundrum because I'm obviously in a recording studio, I'm in a jamming studio, but I'm not here to talk to a musician per se. I'm here to talk to somebody whose work deals with biomedical sciences and whose technology is to create a more feasible solution to the traditional methods of skin grafting. His name is Dr. Khairul Izwan Bahrain. He is the CEO and Managing Director of Cell Tissue Technologies in Berhad, but he's also a singer and a vocalist. My name is Syed Fardino Omar and you are watching In Person. Now, every so often we come across a person who will be on In Person, and then you're thinking in your head, or rather I'm thinking in my head, you can basically classify this person as doing this job, or would have one title. But my guest for today, as I have alluded to earlier, does not wear one hat, he wears several hats, and I thought, I'm not even going to bother remembering all of them because in my head I only remember two things, medical doctor and a singer, but then apparently he's got a lot more stuff going on for him. So let me introduce you to him. This is Datuk Khairul, Dr. Khairul maybe Dr. Khairul Izwan.
Thank you so
How
much.
do you do?
I'm good,
I'm supposed to call you DK apparently?
DK for Dr. Khairul.
DK for Dr.
Makes
Khairul.
sense, right?
Shouldn't it be DRK?
DRK, yes, but apparently in my working environment last time, it's very difficult to say Khairul, especially for my Chinese friends. Okay. So there's Khairul. So there's DK lah, Dr. Khairul.
Right, okay.
So there it goes, DK.
So, as I mentioned earlier, so you wear many hats. Let's see. Before rolling, he says, I have 5. So I'm going to attempt, yeah? Number 1, medical doctor. Okay.
Certified statistician.
Let me try lah.
And it's in one title.
Oh, it's one title. So medical doctor and certified statistician. Yes. Number 2, vocalist / singer. Okay. / performer / artist. Number 3, okay, dah tak ingat dah.
Number 3
Fill us in.
I'm also a biomedical researcher where I invent technologies. Number 4 is
you can't remember? Okay, that means I'm not alone. I'm not alone in this one, but
that shows like I wear so many hats.
Exactly. No, to me, I think it just shows that sometimes successful people, they just do what they do. They don't particularly have to put a label onto what they do, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. But I'm sorry, but you're gonna have to remember the other 2
later on. Next segment. Next segment will reveal that.
Okay, all right. So we're here talking to you today because not only are you somebody who's so driven to basically achieve success for yourself on so many different levels, but you are somebody who innovates and you don't stop at what is the current, but you go ahead and look for what is the tomorrow. And I think this is what you try to achieve with your cell tissue technology, with your company that you're working on right now. And we were talking earlier, you can do amazing things with this. So DK's work involves creating and cultivating cell tissues for you to basically apply on various different medical appliances, right? Applications, not appliances, applications. Talk to us about this a little bit. So apparently this is really phenomenal.
Okay, so cell tissue technology basically just it's a highly innovative medical-based tissue engineering-based technology company that's spin off from also very reputable research institute in Malaysia called UKM, of course. Everybody knows UKM. We started off in 2010 basically as a medical startup, yeah, and since then we have grown into being a spin off of the university. But our core technology, what we do is basically we tissue engineer human organs, basically, starting with skin, with the main objective in the end of the day is to have like a factory for human organs. Like, for example, now in Malaysia, I'm telling you there are 17,000 cases where patients need some sort of organ donations, and there's no supply for that. And the rate of organ donations in Malaysia is just 0.7%, which is rather too low compared to other countries in the world. So there you can see the demands of organ donations. But we can't really simply just get people to donate organs, like just easily like that. And organs also, it's not something that's readily available every day. So the only way to come out with organs is you have to create organs. So how to do it is by having this tissue engineering technology on board so that you can come out with skin, bone, cartilage, cornea, you name it. You know, in the end of the day, we don't have to go for donation, we don't have to go for animal sources for any of the restoration of the organs, but rather go to the lab, yeah, and to culture it.
That sounds so bizarre. And I mean, you know, if we were to
Like
go back,
science fiction.
I know. I mean, imagine if we were, say, tak payah so far back, this was the year 2000. You know, growing up, did you watch a show called Beyond 2000?
I was so into books and libraries, so that's why I don't know what's that.
Well, Beyond 2000 was the show.
I know, Beyond 2000, yes.
It
All
was
the
an
creepy
amazing,
things,
well, a lot of amazing technology. That's when we thought that we will have flying cars in the year
Exactly,
2000
they're
and all
like,
that.
you know.
So, you know, this sounds like the kind of stuff we would have talked about in that show. It just sounds so bizarre going back 15 years ago to say I can produce, forget organs, I can produce skin on a little plate. Is just out of this world, and yet here you are doing it.
And it's functioning.
But am I right to think that your aim is basically to create a space where you can actually manufacture and cultivate real human organs to be substituted with, for the real thing?
That's the whole purpose of having tissue engineering on board in medicine, because it helps you restore the organ, repair the organ, and regenerate the organs.
And how far along are you with this?
Okay, we are a little bit behind if we compare to other advanced countries, right? But we are catching up fast, and Malaysia is not so bad either. If we compare to Southeast Asian region, we are the top 3 in tissue engineering field. So we are good, basically. But in terms of the other organs, put aside skin, we are still catching up, So for skin, cornea, cartilage, bone, we are already at par with other countries. So I'm so proud to say that.
Okay.
We just need further fundings for us to be able to actually manufacture
to
more
take it
organs.
to the next step. Okay, so we'll talk about the next step in the third block.
All right.
Humor me here. Out of all the organs, what seems to be in highest demand?
Okay, the top 3 will be cartilage, bone, and skin. And that's what we are aiming for now.
Right.
And the technology is all on board. But we are going with the skin first.
Okay.
Yep.
And what instances would require a person to require bone, cartilage, or skin? What medical instances, or what happened basically?
What happened to the organs when they need some regeneration, if they need a restoration, if they need a repair? All these 3 will go back to the needs of having tissue engineering on board.
Okay, all right. Let's indulge me further here. I just want my audience to really understand the kind of stuff that you do here. Let's take skin, for example, right?
Okay.
So Hari Raya, I go and main bunga api, and then I burnt my skin, and I need new skin. So regularly I could do skin grafting taken from other parts of my body, or now you can do it for me.
I can do it instantly for you.
Okay.
Even if it's an urgent cases, you just wait for another 2 weeks, then the skin's ready for you, as fresh as it could be. Always the case is, for example, the one you mentioned just now, skin grafting, the traditional one, gold standard, it's always 50-50%.
Okay, what is the traditional practice for skin grafting?
Skin grafting, where you're taking the fresh skin that's not affected from the other side, and you sort of like paste transplant
means from where?
That's not affected.
Okay,
like
so
for example,
anywhere else?
Anywhere else that's available.
Like
for
from
example.
my back, or
like for example, this part is affected, then the surgeon will take from this part and paste or transplant it back here.
This part become
so you ended up with 2.
Okay,
two
right,
wounds. That's the kind of pain that we're trying to address here, because it's just like, it doesn't make sense. You come into the OT with 1 wound and you ended up with 2, and you're dealing with 2 pains, like every day screaming, Can you imagine? And it's always 50-50 case. Some case they recover well, but it looks ugly. Some cases just like not well at all until the patient dies,
Right, okay. So now you're saying, in 2 weeks' time,
choice.
You can give me fresh skin and I can thump
to whatever size that you want.
Right.
And without having to sacrifice the other parts.
Okay, I want to understand a little bit more about further benefits, more benefits about this, but we have to go for a short break right now. When we come back, we're going to see, okay, so, -1 scar, but what else is in store for you out there who needs this kind of services? Stay with us on In Person. Hey guys, okay, we're back and we are, you're still watching in person and I'm still with DK. We were talking about cells and skin grafting before we went for a break earlier. But as you know, as you can see, we are now in the recording studio, or rather the control room of the recording studio, because as I mentioned earlier, DK is of course also a vocalist, a singer, and we're actually here today because he's got a single called Stay, which is the song that you can hear in the background right now, but he's here today because he is going to record the Malay version of the same song. We're going to talk about the music stuff later because I'm sure you've got a lot of stories to tell us, but I still want to talk about the benefits of doing the skin grafting.
Oh
earlier.
yeah,
so,
going back to that.
Yeah, we want to go back to that because, okay, so now I only have one wound then instead of having two because we don't have to graft the skin from the other side of my arm, right? So 2 weeks time. And what other benefits are there for doing this?
It functions exactly, or at least 99%, as though it's a real skin. That's why we say it mimics the normal skin.
Okay.
Yeah? Physiological skin. So it functions means if the wound's supposed to be here, for example, if you just let it be like that, it will be becoming a scar. That means your movement, range of movement will be restricted. Somehow it will be like this. But since it's skin, it will be elastic, and your range of movement will go back to normal.
So it literally
you can pull it up
back the same
with
thing
sensations, hair follicles, pigmentations. That means you get the same color as though it's before. So it's like almost the real skin.
That's amazing.
Really amazing.
And okay, but you mentioned earlier that you want to do sort of like a center, a factory where you can actually produce limbs, produce organs.
Yes,
maybe
organs.
Not limbs, but
not
organs.
Limbs,
yeah. Skin, okay lah, understandable. It's sort of like paper. It's like one layer, but it's very technical and all that. But then you want to go beyond that.
Exactly, that's
so
the tricky part.
So how does one do that?
Yes, you just have to go cells by cells, then from cells you can have organs. From organs you can have a full system. For example, in the liver, you're not talking about just 1-2 cells here. There are many cells involved, so it's very tricky. So that's why we go to less complicated organs first, such as skin, cartilage, cornea, bones. Those are just one type of cells that we can just grow together, and suddenly towards the end they'll just get together. But if you were to go for heart, liver, kidney, pancreas, then you're gonna have to take more further. Especially the funding part, and more time invested. But we already have research. But we already have on board liver cells, But just the cells, not the organ yet. Liver cells and also heart cells to start with.
You're on the way.
At least something. Yes, I am on the way. So at least something to start with.
Got it. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna be a little bit cheeky and naughty here for 2 seconds.
You're always like that.
I'm gonna ask you a rather pokey question. Has anybody ever come up to you and said, you're actually trying to do God's work?
Cloning, you're thinking? Not really. Okay.
Whatever.
No.
Whatever you want to call it. But then you're producing something that comes from God. Sort of, yeah? So how do you respond to that?
We'd rather say you're wrong, and we are playing an angel here because we are helping people who have necessity to have their organs restored and repaired and regenerate. Without us doing this, they will die. So what else you want? I mean, you want the patient die, or you want to question me if I play God?
Right, okay. So there is a moral conscience line.
There is basically ethical, in terms of we being doctor also, we also will always go back to the ethical issues. We're not this ethical, but as long as we're not doing cloning, like 100% copy, we are just maintaining the function and restore back whatever that was before, we're good. We're good.
Very interesting way.
In terms of fatwa, fatwa clearance also we have got, and it's considered harus in Islam. So we're good.
Very good. So you actually did, not only the scientific research, but then also the theological research and the spiritual side of it is also addressed in the work that you do. Okay, well, talking about God and spiritual matters and the well-being of a person spiritually and all that, I want to go back to the career that you had before. You were, of course, part of Saujana, which is a very well-known band back in the early 2000s.
90s.
And, well, late 90s, early 2000, right? You guys, I think you stopped sometime mid 2000, I think.
Yeah, when I graduated.
And during that time, the music that you produced was music talking to God. Right?
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
you know, songs about Islam
Songs of
and
God,
yeah.
yes.
What a journey.
Yeah, it has been.
Yeah, how does one transition from a musician into this and at the same time still maintain music in your life?
I don't think it's something that I think it's just come naturally because I started singing at 5, and then I record. I get a recording contract at 10, so it's just like naturally happened. When I was studying, I will always do something on singing and some other stuff too. So also after that, secondary school, okay, signed with BMG. And doing albums and all that, it didn't really sound or seems to me like something that's strange because it's just natural. If it doesn't happen, then I'll be scratching for that. I'll be wanting that because I'll always multitasking.
Right. Okay. So singing comes naturally to you. I'm gonna hit play one more time because there's one part that I have to highlight. But when we get to that part, I will actually talk to you about it. So singing comes naturally to you, and
And
did
it
you
wasn't
give
really
up?
much a career to me.
Oh,
It was
really?
just like, to me, it's like a very successful school project because I started in school.
Well, a
1997.
school project that
Yes.
brought you home Academy Industry Music AIM Award.
But I don't live life like celebrity or whatever. It's just like a normal life,
Right.
But apart from studying, every weekend I go perform in shows. That's it. Yeah.
Right. Okay. How does one maintain the music? So did you give it up? Towards the mid 2000s when you were doing your studies, or did you actually, continued it?
I was forced to give up at first because after graduation and we got housemanship for doctors, right?
yeah.
It was very, very hectic life. The first 3 years was like no singing at all because you can't. Everyday life is about seeing patients and all that. So I have to stop for a while. But right after that, I started to see the world again. Then that's the only time that I resumed back and then started singing. But not with Saujana.
Okay.
I started with another trio at that time, and I perform in live gigs and in lounge and cruise everywhere at that time. Yes, very nice. So it was also such an experience for me. And right after, until 2012, 2013, that's where I started focusing on this.
Right. Okay. We're going to go for another short break right now.
Okay.
But when we come back, we want to see how it all just basically gels together. All right. We've always said on In Person, if you're successful, you're going to be passionate, and some of that passion is going to spill onto other stuff. This guy here, obviously, is passionate about many different things, and he seems to be successful everywhere he goes. So we just want to understand what's the secret recipe here. So stay with us on In Person. Okay, guys, we're back. I'm still with DK. We're now moving into the sound booth, the recording
Booth.
Actually,
Where the magic happens.
where the magic happens. I'm trying to find the word booth in my head, but I can't find it. Okay, so earlier I said that there was one part in the song that you just needed to listen to. So right now I'm gonna get him to do a simple test for us. So
Nice.
please come over here.
Uh-huh.
Because I read with a lot of interest when I was reading your profile that you're one of the very few people in Malaysia that can actually do a whistle note. And before we
I
rolled
didn't see
earlier,
this coming. Oh my gosh.
yes, and before we rolled earlier, he said that during his days as an actual singer in a band, it was very difficult for him to find the opportunity to actually do a whistle note in his songs. So, ladies and gentlemen, I present to you DK.
You already have that.
Who will actually demo for
Oh my
us.
gosh, I need a warm up, please.
No, I'm sure you did a lot of warm up earlier. Come on, hit us with a note.
Okay.
If that is a whistle note, then I can do better.
Okay, that's all. Okay, that's too expensive for you, okay?
Oh, wow. Well, okay, fine. So, and singers also need to warm up and stuff like that.
Exactly.
But you actually can do that.
Yeah, I just did.
Because the only other person I know that can do a whistle note is Mariah Carey.
A lot. It's actually in you. It's just a matter of you. I accidentally found it. Like, when I was like in secondary school, I didn't know what's the function until, I heard Mariah Carey and I just try. And, okay lah. There's one part, some parts in the song that you really want to push. come back to me, like that. And then you come back to him, "Ah!" So it sounds like, oh, okay, I come back. You know?
Oh,
So
right.
it gives more effects to the sound
Okay.
rather than just plain.
So I'm sure we'll hear it in the song. But tell us, you're now doing the Malay version of your single "Stay," and what do you hope to achieve with it?
This is actually a song about me struggling in my last year in med school. You know, it was a very tough year for me. Last year was like the toughest, you know. I was stranded in hospital Batu Pahat, like away from family. I have nobody to go to every time because it was just patients. So I was so stressful, I come up with this song. Just a way to release it. So I really want to, now I'm at this point, I really want to share it with other people who actually maybe going through the same journey with me, or maybe just can, sort of like get inspired from this song. It's about you being perseverant, stay strong, no matter what. Just reach the goal and focus at the goal and try so hard to actually achieve it. So this song is about positivity, and that's why I really want to have this released. And now that there's also a sponsor for Malay Vision for it, so I go for it because I want to really get more crowds and more listeners to actually understand what this stay is all about. Yeah.
Okay, we want to talk about staying and perseverance, you mentioned earlier. Okay, so we understand the music just comes naturally to you, but of course, your research, your innovation, your technology, and the work that you do in the world of medical sciences, in cell tissue development, that's not something that comes naturally. That is something that you actually really have to work hard for. So going ahead, what else are you going to be working hard on?
What else means I'll be just diversing more in terms of the pipeline stuff, what we can offer as also a first Malaysian tissue engineering based company. Other than that, we try to help more people. Addressing more indications, more problems in medicine. That's what we're trying to go for. I'll be staying here, of course, in the same field to help more people and eventually help the country to establish establish ourselves as a tissue engineering hub for the region.
Very tall order. Yet the work has already started and you've already done some of the work. I'm sure you didn't do it alone. I'm sure you had a lot of people helping behind you and you had funding and all. Talk to us about some of the support that you received.
Yeah, the whole process took around 15 years. Yeah, it started in 1999, that time when I was still in university. But thank God, Malaysian government really take this as something serious, something that will create wealth for the nation, of course, but also helping more people. They really acknowledged that, and they helped in terms of the research stage for 10 years, and the funding for the commercialization stage. That's another 2 years, and again adding up to another 3 years, altogether 15 years. 15 years for 15 million from MOSTI, from UKM, and also especially from MTDC. So
from MTDC as
without all this assistance, this thing will never happen because it needs lots of work, lots of brain, lots of hands, everything has to be in place in order to have this.
The question that still beckons to be asked is, despite the notion that if you're doing something with biomedical sciences or medicine, you don't need to commercialize it because there's always going to be a need for new stuff. So why do you need to commercialize?
Of course, if it's not commercialized, everything that we do in the lab will just stay in the bench, and no patient will benefit from it. So that's the whole total waste. So lucky that we have government, especially MTDC, to fund the gap that we have from the bench going to the patients. Yeah, that's the critical gap phase that we have to really address, and MTDC is addressing it by giving, by providing assistance in terms of funding for specifically for commercialization.
Right. Okay. So MTDC, a body like MTDC doesn't just stop at providing you the funds to develop the technology, but it goes all the way through.
Yes, for development of the technologies by MOSTI, for example, and then now, okay, we want to commercialize it. We want to have it used by the patient. So who's going to fund that? There comes MTDC in place. Yeah. Okay.
So music, medicine, science, innovation, technology, everything rolled together. Where do you see yourself in 15 years?
Wow, 15 years. Singing doctor still, and maybe singing technopreneur now, and later 15 years. a mogul.
A mogul, eh? Okay, so, all right, so monetary is definitely one of the goals, which is also, of course, a good thing.
It comes
you know,
along with
yeah,
what
it comes,
you do.
yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
there
Well,
you
we
go.
can only wish you the very best of success. DK,
Thank you
thank
so
you
much.
so
Thank you
much.
so much.
We're looking forward to listening to him sing right now. So I'm going to sign off. You've been with me, Syed Fadi Norma, and I've been with DK. A guy who does not, you know, rest on one label, a guy who does so many different things. It is something that you should aspire to be because there's just so many things that you can do as well. So I hope you enjoy the tunes that we're going to leave you with. Over to you.
Okay. Ketika kau berduka, mengalir air mata, terasa perit, sedih dan hebat. Yeah. Dan bila kau termenung mengenang kisah lalu, tiada siapa di sisimu, matahari pun kelabu, kau rebah tersungkur. That's it. Thank you so much. Interesting. Bye.